Before you opened your eyes to this world, before the breath of life touched your lips, something extraordinary happened. In a space beyond time, beyond the linear confines of cause and effect, you stood at the threshold of incarnation. And there, in a silence that holds all truths, you made a choice. This life, your life, is not an accident. The circumstances you were born into, the family that shaped your earliest perceptions, the body that houses your awareness, the challenges that echo across your path, all of it was part of a design, not imposed upon you, but agreed to, consciously, willingly. You accepted this challenge, not from a place of suffering, but from a dimension of deep spiritual clarity. In that higher state, you saw that the soul does not evolve through ease alone. It evolves through contrast, through resistance, through remembering its essence, even in forgetfulness. You understood this when you said yes. Weiss, in his work with past life regression, uncovered a striking truth repeated in the memories of countless souls, that before birth, we choose the lessons our soul most needs, not as punishment, but as alignment. We meet with our guides. We review what was left undone, where fear still lingers, where love did not flow. And then, we design an experience that will stretch us so that we may expand. You chose your wounds so they could become openings. You chose your obstacles so they could become teachers. You chose forgetfulness so that the act of remembering could become sacred. And now here you are, living this very life that was once just a vision in the spiritual realm. Have you ever felt that quiet pull, like something beneath the surface of daily life is guiding you? That's not coincidence. That's the echo of your original intention. The soul does not forget. It whispers, it nudges, and when necessary, it shouts, through crisis, through synchronicity, through dreams. But often the noise of the world drowns out that voice. We get lost in the roles we play, in the stories we tell ourselves, in the pain we carry as if it defines us. We forget that we are the architects of this life, not merely its victims. And so we wander. Yet every moment of suffering, every closed door, every unanswered question carries within it a hidden invitation. An invitation to return, to remember the deeper reason we are here. This is not spiritual poetry. It is vibrational truth. The universe is not punishing you. It is responding to the blueprint you created with the wisdom of your higher self. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are precisely where your soul expected to be at this point in the journey. Even your resistance has purpose. Even your doubt is part of the path. Can you feel that? The trembling beneath the surface of what you call reality, that's your soul calling you home. You don't need to have it all figured out. You only need to pause long enough to listen. And as you listen, something ancient awakens. A knowing that was never really gone, only sleeping. If these words resonate somewhere deep within, it's not because they are new, it's because they are remembered. Let this remembrance guide you. Let it soften you. Let it open the space for something greater than logic to move through you again. And if you feel that subtle awakening within, honor it. Stay with it. And gently, like a sacred gesture to your own soul's intention, consider subscribing to this channel so that this path of remembrance continues to unfold with each step. There is a sacred space, invisible to the physical eye, where the soul prepares. It is not a place made of matter, but of consciousness, a vibrational sanctuary beyond the veil of form. Before entering the density of human life, the soul returns here, again and again, to attune itself to its next evolution. This is where the blueprint is refined. In this state of higher awareness, free from fear and confusion, you met with wise beings, guides, teachers, sometimes other souls with whom you share ancient bonds. These are not fantasies. They are remembered in deep regressions, where the conscious mind dissolves and only truth remains. Dr. Weiss has spoken of these meetings, of the clarity people recall when immersed in those liminal states. Together, you reviewed your karmic threads, unfinished emotions, unresolved relationships, contracts of growth, not as judgment, but as energy-seeking balance. There is no punishment in this space, only understanding. What needs healing reveals itself not to shame you, but to liberate you. You saw the people who would walk beside you, the ones who would hurt you, heal you, mirror you, challenge you. You didn't choose them lightly. Every encounter carries meaning, even if the mind cannot yet see it. The soul's perspective is wider, more patient, less reactive. It sees beyond the moment. You chose the themes your soul longed to explore. Maybe it was forgiveness or courage, or compassion in the face of betrayal. You chose environments that would evoke those lessons. Sometimes you chose contrast, a family that would not understand you, a culture that would not reflect you, so that your light would learn to shine without external permission. That is not cruelty, that is design. You knew you would forget. That was part of the plan. Forgetting allows you to experience choice. It allows your love to be real, not automatic. In forgetting there is struggle, but in struggle there is the possibility of remembrance. And remembrance is the soul's most powerful awakening. You did not enter this life alone. Some souls chose to incarnate alongside you as companions in growth. Others remained in the higher realms as guides watching over your steps. You may have felt them in moments of despair, when something unseen held you. That presence, that subtle reassurance, is real. It is the echo of your original agreement to never be truly alone. Even your gifts, your sensitivities, your passions, your deepest fears were carefully selected tools, not decorations, but instruments. Your intuition is a compass, your empathy a bridge, your creativity a channel. All of it was known, designed, prepared. Have you ever wondered why certain places feel familiar, or why some people seem instantly significant? These are not coincidences, they are echoes. Your soul recognizes what the mind cannot explain. These moments are glimpses through the veil, reminders that you are exactly where you need to be, experiencing what you need to experience. But preparation is not perfection. The soul doesn't plan a flawless life. It plans a fertile one. Fertile with potential, with opportunities to fall and rise, to forget and remember. The map is written in possibilities, not certainties. You are never bound by fate. You are invited into co-creation. This truth can be overwhelming, but it is also profoundly freeing. If your life is not a mistake, then your pain is not meaningless. It is the soil in which your awakening grows. And if you chose this path, then you can also choose how to walk it, consciously, gently, and with reverence for the sacred mystery of being human. There is more to recall, and as we continue, deeper layers of memory begin to stir. When you were born, a veil was drawn. The luminous awareness you carried through the soul's realm dimmed, wrapped in layers of identity, memory, and sensation. This forgetting was not a flaw. It was part of the sacred architecture. Without it, the game of life would not hold meaning. If you remembered your origin too clearly, there would be no discovery, no challenge, no real choice. It is the amnesia itself that makes this journey sacred. From your first breath, you were immersed in contrast, sound and silence, presence and absence, love and fear. These opposites are not enemies, they are mirrors that reflect your inner becoming. Yet the mind, seeking safety, labels them quickly. It clings to pleasure and recoils from pain, and so we begin to forget more deeply. We forget that we are not our stories. We forget that we are not our traumas. We forget that we are not the voices that echo in our heads, repeating patterns from generations before. And yet in that forgetting, a seed remains, a whisper. A flicker of light within the darkened cave. Sometimes it appears in moments of stillness, looking at the sky, hearing a piece of music, feeling sudden tears without knowing why. In these moments, your soul is speaking through the cracks. Weiss describes how, under regression, people often bypass the noise of the mind and fall into something ancient and wise within them. They speak of lifetimes they never studied, cultures they never knew, and wisdom that transcends their education. Why? Because it was never learned. It was remembered. The forgetting is not permanent. It is a veil, not a wall. But to lift it, one must stop striving outward and begin listening inward. The path of remembering is not found in information, but in resonance. This is why spiritual awakening often begins with discomfort. The soul begins to stir, and the life we built around forgetfulness no longer fits. We feel lost, confused, sometimes even broken. But these feelings are not failure. They are the friction of awakening. They are sacred contractions before expansion. Have you noticed how certain patterns repeat in your life? Certain emotional loops, certain types of relationships? This is not life being cruel. It is life trying to get your attention. The soul does not give up easily. If a lesson is missed, it returns. Not as punishment, but as invitation. To remember, we must be willing to question, to soften our certainties, to sit with the discomfort of not knowing. The mind will resist because it was trained to seek control, but the heart will recognize truth when it feels it. This sacred amnesia also teaches humility. Without it, we would walk with arrogance. With it, we rediscover the world as if for the first time. Every act of remembrance becomes a miracle, every insight a light in the fog. And so we walk, half blind, half awake, stumbling at times, and yet the soul watches with infinite compassion. It knows that even in the forgetting, we are held. Even in our confusion, we are progressing. You are not expected to wake up all at once. This is not a race, this is a spiral. You will return to the same lesson many times, each time from a deeper place. Let that truth settle. Let it soften your self-judgment. You are not late, you are not failing, you are unfolding exactly as planned. And if you feel the faint hum of recognition in these words, trust it. That is not coincidence. That is memory surfacing. There is more within you that remembers. And it is time to continue listening. Even in the thickest fog of forgetting, the universe leaves clues. Like breadcrumbs scattered by a wiser version of yourself, synchronicities begin to appear, not as magic tricks, but as subtle confirmations that you are indeed being guided. These moments, often dismissed as coincidences, are actually the language of the soul trying to speak through the veil. You think of someone, and they call. You ask for clarity, and the exact message comes through a stranger's words. You take a wrong turn only to discover something you didn't know you needed. These are not accidents, these are responses. Life, when you're paying attention, is interactive. Weiss often spoke of patients whose lives shifted when they began to notice these signs. The moment they acknowledged that something greater was orchestrating their path, not outside of them, but through them, they softened. The fear that had once ruled their decisions gave way to trust, and with trust came peace. But these signs are subtle, they require presence. The mind wants loud answers, guarantees, declarations. The soul offers whispers, nudges, and echoes. To receive them, you must slow down. You must be willing to be still, to notice what your logical self might overlook. You might feel a pull toward certain books, places, or people. You may hear the same phrase repeatedly from different sources. You may wake from dreams that feel more real than waking life. These are not illusions, they are openings. Invitations to re-engage with the deeper current of your life. This is the art of spiritual navigation, not control, but alignment, not forcing, but allowing. The path is not mapped out step by step. It unfolds moment by moment, in dialogue with your intention and awareness. The more you trust these signs, the more they appear, not because reality changes, but because your perception sharpens. You become attuned. You learn to recognize the pulse of the unseen. What once felt random begins to form a pattern. A sacred geometry emerges in the everyday. Sometimes the signs come through challenge. A door closes, a plan dissolves, a relationship ends. In those moments, the ego panics. But the soul watches. It knows that what feels like loss is often redirection. That what feels like death is often birth. Have you noticed how clarity often comes after surrender? How life reorganizes itself once you release the grip of certainty? This is not weakness. This is wisdom. The soul doesn't need to control life. It seeks to dance with it. And in that dance, synchronicities become rhythm. Signs become music. Even silence begins to speak. You are not alone in this remembering. There are others scattered across the world, waking up in their own time, in their own way. Some may cross your path for a moment, others for a lifetime, but none by chance. Souls travel in constellations. You begin to feel it. A quiet sense that you are not walking blindly, that something ancient within you is guiding your steps. That even your confusion has context. When you feel this, linger there, not with urgency but with reverence. These are the moments where time softens and the veil lifts just enough for truth to slip through. This is the path you chose before birth. Not to be certain, but to be open. Not to know everything, but to trust enough to keep going. The signs are not outside of you. They are reflections of the intelligence you already carry within. They are the voice of your soul reminding you, you are not lost, you are on the path, and the path is alive. There comes a point on the path where remembering alone is not enough. Insights must become embodiment. The soul doesn't awaken only to know, it awakens to live differently. And this shift, from understanding to integration, is the true alchemy of spiritual evolution. You have glimpsed the blueprint. You have felt the resonance of a deeper truth beneath your ordinary days. But now, you are invited to anchor that truth in every breath, in every word, in every step. This is where remembering becomes transformation. To integrate the soul's purpose is not to escape the human experience. It is to embrace it fully, with presence, with gentleness, with reverence for the lessons unfolding in real time. Enlightenment is not a destination. It is a relationship with each moment, informed by the memory of who you truly are. It begins in the small things, how you speak to yourself when you fall, how you respond to discomfort, how you treat others when no one is watching. The soul speaks through these moments. It asks, can you love here too? Can you stay conscious here? Integration requires honesty. You cannot bypass the parts of yourself still afraid, still grieving, still angry. These parts are not enemies to be exiled. They are aspects of your own evolution, longing to be seen and transmuted through compassion. You are not here to become someone else. You are here to become fully yourself. Weiss often emphasized that healing across lifetimes happens not just through regression, but through living consciously in the present. Each time you act from your higher knowing, you heal not only this life, but echoes of many before. Each loving choice sends ripples across dimensions you cannot yet see. There will still be days of forgetting, but now you know how to return. You know the way back to center because it lives within you. You are the doorway, the key, and the home. The people in your life, those who trigger you, uplift you, challenge you, are still part of the soul contract. Nothing is random, but you no longer have to react blindly. You can choose to respond from the self that remembers. You can hold space for your own discomfort without letting it define you. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to be present. And presence is what allows spirit to move through you, not as a force above you, but as a truth within you. As you integrate, you begin to sense that the separation between the spiritual and the ordinary was always imagined. Every meal becomes a prayer, every breath a ceremony, every relationship a mirror reflecting your growth. This is the return, not to some celestial realm, but to the essence of your being, the same essence that made the choice long before birth to incarnate here and now. You said yes to this life, and now that yes becomes embodied. You walk with a quiet power, not the power to control life, but the power to meet life with grace. You become a presence that uplifts without speaking, that heals without trying, that remembers without needing to convince anyone. This is your work now, not to escape, but to stay, not to rise above, but to go deeper within, to live as one who has remembered and who continues remembering. And if these words touched something silent inside you, something ancient and soft, then you know this message was meant for you. If these words touched your soul, subscribe to the channel and click on the video that just appeared on your screen. It was chosen especially for you. I know you'll love it. I know